Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to can you believe it, episode 54 of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. Hey, I'm Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty. Cheers to you today. Colleen Schaefer, my partner and great friend, is out and about with some clients today. Got another house we're looking for to find people the right place to meet their current dreams on their house. So anyway, I'm here flying solo. She lets me do that once in a while. She'll be coming back soon. We've got today's episode's a little different than what we've done. So I was kind of trying to look for some different ideas here. And, I kind of thought I'd start with the basics, which is okay, a lot of you see our show and, we interview people, we go over the stats, we do all those types of things. However, as we like to say, especially in Las Vegas, if you don't know at least one real estate agent, you probably don't know anybody. I mean, there's over 14,000 realtors in the Las Vegas Valley, and many people I know, or at least most of them, at least know one, probably two, in some cases 3 to 6 realtors. And I was out with a good friend and colleague of mine this Monday, and she felt a little guilty, she said, about going with me to go look at some houses because we were talking about what was going on with her current situation and how I was suggesting it may make sense to move away from a rental that you're paying an ungodly amount of money for, and you can afford it with the right, loan situation to get into something that you own. Now, I reached out to her, and in a lot of cases, agents, some will reach out to you, some will not. However, the most cases are people choosing a real estate agent. And I kind of wanted to go over that. So I kind of looked up some data here, some little pieces of puzzles for questions to ask a real estate agent. And so I started looking into it. And I went to a couple different sites. It's like questions to ask a real estate agent. Well, there's some pieces that are kind of informative. And then honestly, there's some pieces that it's like chopping an onion 101. Sorry, but I'm looking at this. It's like this would be the equivalent to how to do an employee review for your first employee at your first job. Go through attendance, go through this and that. It's 101. And, well, sports fans, ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of beyond that. We're beyond 101. We're dealing, in most cases, with people's first or second largest assets, or we're dealing with investors that have a large investment portfolio. And, I'm looking at these types of questions here, like, can I see your real estate license? Okay, well, we want to make sure they're not a fraud, so okay, yeah, I can show you my real estate license. And, other questions, how many deals have you done? How long have you been working in real estate? And some of them are, maybe important or may help answer your questions. But the bottom line is, and this came from a person who I listened to quite a bit, read their books, Chris Voss. He wrote I think one of the leading books on negotiations. Former FBI negotiator. You've probably seen some of his commercials on Masterclass, things of that nature. Seen some of his YouTube videos. We wrote the book called Never Split the Difference. And when he went into the first FBI hostage negotiation he had to deal with, they didn't ask for his resume. The questions were, do you know what the situation going on and can you help me? So if I back up a little bit to that and say, okay, for anybody we're working with, or if you are going to go and interview somebody to be your real estate agent, whether it's buying or selling, is, do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm looking to do, whether it's buy or sell, what I'm looking to buy or sell? And how can you help me do that in the best manner possible? and what you both agree on, what the best manner possible is. And that can be an ever-changing environment. So, if I'm looking for somebody to buy in a country club or gated community, that would pose a separate set of questions than I'm looking to buy a ranch property, or I'm looking to sell a ranch property, or I'm looking to sell a golf course property. Again, slightly different approaches. But the questions then become, do you understand me, and do you understand what's going on? And the truth of the matter is here at the Cramer Group, we have 2 agents. And Colleen, my partner, she's been an agent almost 20 years, been in Las Vegas since the early 90s. So she's also spent time in the mortgage industry. She's spent time in new home sales as well as resale. So she has a very well-rounded real estate and loan experience, and has worked with a large variety of people over time. Me, myself, truth of the matter is, I haven't been in real estate very long. Less than, we're talking a few years in. Now, does that mean that it's different in my situation than others? In some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. But we want to make sure, but then the question becomes, okay, Don, do you know what I'm looking to do? Do you know where I'm looking to be? Do you know where I'm wanting to be? Do you think these are, are you giving me the right information I need to make the right decisions? And over these few years, with the number of transactions we've done, which year over year is growing at a very high rate, yes. And I'll give you a good example. So let's talk about golf course properties. And there are homeowners that or people looking to buy in country club communities. And there are agents that service those areas, and I will give them, that have a lot of experience and time in the field, which is great. Now, there's something that most of them don't have that I do. I have 20 plus years as a PGA professional, managed 2 of the busier most popular golf courses in town. One of them had real estate on them. Also was involved in a lot of real estate golf course development projects over a large portion of my career. So I understand that. I know many of the golf professionals, general managers of the properties. I know the history of those golf courses from when they opened, because I moved here in the late 80s. And, my first golf job was in 1990. And that went over a 15-year period at golf courses, and then also did consulting for several years after, up until actually about 2 years ago, on a wide variety of topics. So I would like to say I understand golf courses from the opposite side of the fence. Now, combining that with real estate knowledge, that makes it for a very unique case as to determining, what type of experience that the homeowner wants. Is it more of a visual experience, or is it part about being with a golf club experience? So if you're looking to say, you know what, Don, I want to be in a golf course country club, I'd say, great. Okay. What are those amenities you want? Are you more of a playing person, or do you want something that's fun? Do you want something that's got a bit of social atmosphere? Do you have additional family members that may need or want to use the facilities, or are they golfers? Do they play tennis? All those types of things we want to know, so we can help then get you the information you need as to which clubs we may want to look at, all the way out from South Shore Lake Las Vegas to Anthem Country Club in Henderson, to Southern Highlands in the south, to Red Rock Country Club on the west, to TPC Summerlin up here in Summerlin. So that way you have the information. Now, if you're looking for a more public golf experience, maybe you don't want country club fees because you don't want to pay the initiation or high monthlies, and you want something with some more flexibility, we can look at other places like Bears Best Country Club, TPC Las Vegas, and a few other properties that have additional options for you. So that's just one thing that I will come at it from a different side of the equation. Secondly, too, with regards to a lot of things, we're also looking at we deal with a lot of numbers and a lot of data. And when you're interviewing an agent, maybe you are a type of person that needs to have the numbers, the analysis done. We're working with some clients right now that are going to be buying a series of investment properties. And they had a distinct plan as to what they want to purchase. And so what we're doing is I'm compiling because, as friends of mine like to say, I speak two languages, English and Excel. The third language I like to do is maybe the French menu at Joel Robuchon, but I'm still learning that one. But English and Excel, so I never met a spreadsheet I didn't like, some people joked about. Well, the good news is because of my education and background, I deal a lot with numbers. Numbers are comfortable for me. I look at it. I look at analysis. I look at trends. I look at things. And that's why we do things like the weekly recap, so we can start seeing where things are going from a numerical value, because we want to know, okay, are we in a more stronger seller's market, lighter seller's market, buyer's market? Are we seeing things accelerate? Are we seeing things softening in this ever-changing real estate world? And so me, as an agent, it's important for me to keep up with those numbers, and then also do the due diligence and information to provide my clients with the information they need. So over a weekend, put the Excel hat on, did that analysis, provided them a couple of reports and such where they could make that decision. Now, some people don't speak Excel. Now, if we understand that and there are more, hey, we've got a little more emotions, or it's about feelings, things of that nature. Okay, well, you know what? That's why Colleen and I are a team, because we both complement each other. That we can feel for what I feel for everyone, because I'm excited for them meeting their real estate goals, and it's very fulfilling to me. Same with Colleen. But you know what? The both of us, because we come at things with slightly different points of view, it really rest assures our clients as to that they have a pair of agents, which is unusual, working for them in their best interests, and they can communicate to. Because there are some people that will gravitate towards the more creative, emotional side, and then some more the numeric due diligence side. So that is something we are feeling pretty key about. So when you're picking a real estate agent, you want to make sure that they align with you. Now, the one thing, there is something to be said about a couple of items that came out of this list here, is how active are those real estate agents? And if they aren't as active, do they have the capabilities and horsepower to match what you're looking to do? With that being said, of the 14,000 some odd real estate agents, there's a large segment of them that do not many real estate transactions a year. And there's a large swath of them that do zero. Some of them, maybe it's just to sell their own house, or they may have their own personal property, or they may sell a family member's home. So they're only doing maybe 0 to 4 transactions a year. And then there's a large chunk too that may be only doing one deal every couple of months. And then you actually start getting into a small percentage that do 1 transaction a month. And then when you start getting into the 2 to 3 to 4 transactions per month from an agent, you really start getting down to a small percentage of agents in the valley. And for better or worse, I agree with the old adage, like if you're a professional baseball player, or you're a professional golfer, or you're a professional, if you are in your craft day in and day out and honing it, that is an important thing to do. So while in some cases you may have Okay, I'm sorry, just we had a comment come in, and I'm going to read this comment out here in a moment. So in some cases, you know what, if you've got to be able to hone your craft. So in this month, if you didn't have a transaction, and sometimes there may not be an escrow that month for whatever reason. But if you're continuing to meet with people, interact, provide information, show homes, go on appointments, move things out. Some people are ready to buy right now. Some people are further out. So the agents that are constantly doing that day in and day out, providing value and information, are maybe worth considering, because they're showing up, they're going to practice, they're taking their batting practice, they're hitting their range balls, they're hitting their putts, they're going to the gym, they're honing their craft day in and day out, they're going to the classes, they're going to learn. And one of the other things too that we do with the Cramer group is I belong to a coaching group and network of some of the top agents in the country. So we meet a couple times a year, both in a elite capacity and then for our annual summits. This year, at our annual summit, it's going to be virtual, but these group of agents, and we have a few here in Las Vegas, are some of the top performing agents in the country, both in quality, both in sales, experience, you name it, across a wide spectrum. And it's exciting to meet with them and be in mastermind groups, share ideas, and implement best practices, because if you're around that kind of mastermind group, that just elevates your capabilities. Like, I use the golf analogy a lot. When I was wanting to go be a better player, what did I do? I hung around good players. So as a good real estate agent starting out, I wanted to make sure I surrounded myself with the best and, kind of run with the big dogs. So I'm committed to run with them. We're moving along. So that's a big key. So if you're looking for a real estate agent, determine whether or not they're a full-time professional in their craft, or if they are only a part-time professional in their craft, are they really working on that craft at the highest level possible? Because there are some people that may be transitioning, things of that nature, that do several deals or have a system in place, and you want to be able to understand what that is. Had a great little comment by Nicole here. Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate it. She said, "You passed my husband's interview without breaking a sweat." We had some weak realtors in the past. You proved that you were tough and ready to be our advocate. And that's Nicole, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Very humbled by that. And that's another thing too, is when you're going to be in a real estate transaction, it is two sides of an equation. So in the case of Nicole and her husband and family, we were representing them on the purchase side. And so we actually looked at quite a few houses because one, it was a big major decision for them. So I needed to make sure they were armed with all the information they needed, because there were concerns. Okay, how's the economy doing? What's going on? How's this situation? What, could we have another crash? All great legitimate questions. And I had to make sure we had the information so they could answer those things at ease. Then we found a place. You know what? We worked through those negotiations, and proud to say, they have a wonderful home near some family, and that home too, even after purchasing, is doing a little better, because that's another big key. Is one of the big questions I love to ask, and some people say we never get asked that, is how long do you plan to live in this home? Because that changes how I approach things. If you're planning to live in the home 2 to 3 years, or planning to do something with it, like rent it out because of some change you want to make, well, I'm going to look at things from that perspective, because I want to know, okay, one, if you want to go sell that home, how sellable is that? Is that more marketable? Will you have a little bit of equity in there? What kind of situation will be in? Can we sell it fast? Can we rent it out fast? Can we rent it out for a decent amount of money? If you're looking to be 7-10 years, which is more the average, well, that's a little different story, especially if we start people worrying, okay, what if there's a real estate crash? Well, you know what? All signs show if there is a pullback, there may be some, but if you're planning to be in there 10 years, even at the depths of the Great Recession, and on 10 years past, most, if not all, homes recovered, or some even exceeded. So, I feel pretty good that if we had another situation like that in a 10-year period, you'd be in a pretty good position. So again, those are questions we like to ask to help garner what that client's looking for. And so you want to make sure when you're searching for an agent that they're asking you the key questions and giving you information and flexibility you need to make the right decisions. There are a couple of other items in here I think that are important. Is there are some agents that are predominantly listing, and there's some agents that are predominantly buyers. Now, we're kind of more of a half and half type of group. When I just looked at the numbers, 45% were listings and 55% were purchases. But with the next couple coming up, it's actually going to flop the other way. So we're about half and half, and we actually do some more so that are like, okay, we have to help somebody sell and then buy. Now, in some cases, if you have somebody that is an exclusive listing agent, if they go on the purchase side, are they going to be knocking off a little rust there to negotiate from the purchase side? Now, some of them, if they're a higher performing listing agent, may have a buyer agent that works with you that you would be detached to. Sometimes that happens. And if you're comfortable with that, that's okay. Now, on the buying side, if somebody's predominantly buying agents, now then a lot of those may become because they're doing open houses or they're buying leads off of Zillow or online or things of that nature, and they're mostly dealing with buyers. Do they understand how to properly set up, market, negotiate, and do the due diligence on the sale of a home? Because there's, while there are some common forms in a lot of cases, there's two different approaches. So I am proud of the fact that we have a balanced team that understands both the sell side, the listing side, as well as the purchase side. Now, a couple other questions that I think are important to know is do you know the area? Now, there's some areas or some types of homes where we may go, you know what, we may see that somebody else is maybe a better suit. One could be geographic. It's just, they're closer to that neighborhood, things of that nature. I mean, also price point. Now, that being said, if I look at where our team is, the Cramer Group, I have, I'm located on the west side up in Summerlin. Partner Colleen, she's located in the Henderson area near Anthem and such. So the good news is we've got two major areas, and also two can radiate out from there. So if you look at Summerlin, okay, well, that can push out into Piccoli Ranch, Canyon Gate, the Lakes, 89129 zip code, Spring Valley. And then also too with Henderson, you're looking at Green Valley, you're looking at Inspirada, McDonald Highlands, and kind of radiate out from there as well. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we may not take a listing, and we have sold successfully up, let's say, by Centennial and Decatur, because we had a client who had investment properties all through the valley. So that client relationship was important. The other thing too, closing on a house in Spring Valley. Well, that's where I lived for the first few years of living, so I have an understanding of that. So if you can find, understand those based on where people are looking at, and they can feel that you're comfortable with those areas, great. If there's a sense of uncomfort, well, okay, that's a concern. The other thing is price point. Price point wise, we're like to say, our core is between that sort of mid segment, which is sort of say right around between 400,000 and 500,000 on the one end, up to $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million, up to $1.5 million on the high end. Now, while that sounds big, that inventory gets down smaller. Well, one, very familiar with that, very familiar with the builders in those market spaces. Also, it's based on the kind of houses that over time, as us being in Las Vegas, have lived in. colleagues have lived in, colleagues have sold, colleagues have bought. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we don't do a lot of entry-level homes too, because, Colleen, especially with some of our relationships, we get a passion for people that are looking for first-time home buyers, or like my friend who's looking to buy their first home because they're renting. We want to get them into a place. And we work on a lot of those. Now, our median sale price is a bit higher than the median price in Las Vegas. The median sale price in Las Vegas is $315,000. Our current median sale price right now is where's that number, is $417,000. So we're a little on the higher side there, but it doesn't necessarily mean we don't push into some of that space as well. Now, and that's important. Now, there's some areas where we might go, okay, well, if somebody that does sell, let's say, $1 million price point homes on the average, or $2 million price point homes dealing with a starter home, that's kind of a different situation there. They may not know some of that inventory. They may not know some of those entry point numbers. But we like to work with people along the generational line, whether they're looking to upscale, because a lot of them are going to bounce out of that house that was that more median entry level price into more of a family home that is in our core price point. And then if based on job and security, they may bump up another one. But then again, as they kind of reach an age where maybe they don't need as much space, or they're wanting to downsize or have something a little lighter footprint, they may downshift again. It just all depends. So you want to make sure that that person is comfortable at those price points. They have some experience at those price points, and they know how to either sell or purchase, or what to look for. So those are, I think, some of the things you want to, when you're searching for a real estate agent, want to know. Can they relate to you? Do they understand you? Do they understand what you're saying? Are they providing you information and solutions for you to make the right decision? And it's, like I said, it's not about looking at a resume or a CV and going through the standard list of interview questions. It's a little more complicated than that, because again, you're dealing with your first or second largest assets. And that's the pride and concern that Colleen and I have at the Cramer Group for you, because this is a lot of money. These are life-changing decisions. So we want to make sure when you're working to find what you're looking for in your life, us as your real estate agent advisors are able to support that. And that's our passion, and that's our goal for you. So a little different coffee with Cramer and Colleen today, but we wanted to get that out there to you. And I think one last item to wrap up is a lot of agents, for better or worse, are at different parts of their career. Like I said, I'm in this business because I enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy the passion of it. I enjoy the process. I enjoy, a lot of facets about it that I used to use in a lot of other businesses and industries. So that's very appealing to me. Colleen enjoys it because she enjoys the people, the life stories, the things of that nature, while providing tremendous value to friends, clients, and people that we meet all along the way. And where I'm going with that is there are people that are kind of starting to get into the new part of this business. There's some people that are further in, and some people that are probably starting to look at saying, okay, how do I wind down my practice, or my practice might be a few years out. One thing that's going on in the real estate industry is they're starting to kind of call it a level of kind of 21st century automation industrialization in the industry. And it's an ever-changing world. And we're seeing this across all spectrums, but real estate is affected just as much. And that's requiring us to be, like we're here today, on video, social media, doing analysis, looking up information. It's no longer than a generational ago. We were joking about it over cocktails with a couple of agents the other day. How it was, okay, you had a folder, and the folder was in a book, and you kind of went up with the charts, and you're waiting for the new books to always come out, and you kind of went there, and you had a little lockbox that you might have had a key or like a simple remote. We've got apps, things of that nature. We have a mountain of disclosures, not a mountain, but a lot of disclosures to go through. Those disclosures change, the files change, the marketing capabilities change. Look at COVID being the most classic example. There were agents that really only dealt with open houses, and I did some open houses as part of our marketing and meeting and greeting people face to face. Well, COVID put that in a box. That being said, what did we do? We went to video. We started doing full media packages across all of our listings, not for just select listings or based on what people needed. We just said, you know what? All houses being marketed, regardless of price point, is getting the full media package because we felt it was important for a safety and also marketing capability to show that we have the chops necessary to market in a more visual, more standoff environment. And you know what? That showed with several of our listings going either at list price, near list price, and in short windows. In fact, our most recent one, less than 7 days on the market, all cash offer, near list. Clients are very happy. So, we're continuing to bring those tools to the table. And you know what? There are probably new tools that we haven't even seen yet. But you know what? If they're effective for what we do as our practice, we're going to implement them. And there's some people, they kind of call themselves old school. Well, I love the traditions and things of that nature, but we must be progressive and ever changing and ever learning in our business. And that's why I said we're part of one of the top real estate coaching groups in the nation. In fact, the top one. And that has allowed us to be on the lead with regards to how we market, how we work with people, how we provide an experience unlike any other in this real estate business. So if you are looking for somebody that is a person who's constantly in a mode of learning, I think that's important when I'm working with somebody. Do they know what they're doing? Are they learning? Are they keeping up on the latest and greatest? Are they able to be in a position to pivot or change based on the changing in market, because it is an ever-changing market, and compete? Those are the things that you need to be able to figure out as to how to choose a real estate agent. And I hate to say it kind of sounds harder than kind of going through the list. Well, it does, like we're kind of going through prospects and leads. Finding a real estate agent, it's kind of like the same thing. You need to go through and make sure that person, knows what's going on. And sometimes they may or may not be a family member or friend or one of the 5 or 6 you know. And if you are thinking about real estate, whether it's buying, selling, or investing here in Las Vegas, we're always available for a Skype call, Zoom meeting, bring a cup of coffee, happy to chat. We're able to meet for coffee in public settings. Again, make sure you wear your mask. We want to make sure we're practicing being out there, being safe. But we're here for you to answer those questions, and they may or may not lead to us working with you, but hopefully it leads you down the path of saying, you know what, I asked the questions, I got the information I need, I feel comfortable now as to how I want to proceed with buying, selling, or investing in real estate, because more now than ever, as we like to say, your real estate experience matters. So a little different take here on episode 54 of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. We appreciate you tuning in and checking this out. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We'd love to answer those. And on behalf of Colleen Schaefer, I'm Don Cramer with the Cramer Group. We're more now than ever. And like I said, your real estate experience matters. Tomorrow, excited to have Dustin Waters with the Waters Aqua Tech on. We're going to be chatting about outdoor living spaces, especially pools and spas. And this is the man I go to on design theory, trends, things of that nature, because he is a man of constant learning. So I'm excited to hear what Dustin has to say about outdoor living spaces here in this COVID and post-COVID situation. Hopefully, will be coming up. So till next time, we wish you a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.